Hey everybody, Mikey Boy here. This is my first ever time doing a commentary over one of my PBs in 1.16.1 RSG. But I really wanted to wait until I had a time that I was very proud of before making a video like this, and I think I finally had that time. It's 2026, it's not sub 20, but it definitely is a run with so many interesting things happening near the second half of the run, and it's just really worth going over and talking about for reasons that I will reveal later on. But yeah, it's my first ever time doing this kind of video and my first video on my YouTube, and yeah, so please bear with me and thank you so much. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. It's a pretty standard hypermodern start. I recently have been grinding hypermoderns for a month, like months straight, going for hypermoderns. I love hypermodern. I think it's definitely my favorite route of the 1.16.1 category, and I almost exclusively run this. In addition to, sometimes I go for monuments, but yeah. So right off the bat here, I go for this iron wreck. I see it immediately. And usually I would prefer to get complete wrecks, because complete wrecks give you everything. It gives you iron and food. You don't need buried treasure map if you get complete wreck. But even with an iron wreck, just getting the iron wreck and a buried treasure map is still perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The iron chest was good enough too, so just getting a buried treasure map here would be very good if it was positioned closely to this wreck. So I just do my crafting here, and actually something pretty scuffed happens here. You can see when I place this gravel back down, you can see it right over here. You can see this flint flies up out of the shipwreck, and you can see that I was visibly shook by this occurrence. I didn't know what happened. The flint like literally disappeared. So this is the first kind of scuff that happens in this run. Couple scuffed things later on, but yeah, we'll talk about those when they happen. But yeah, I kind of have to mine out this wooden plank to get this flint. It's actually so horrible, ridiculous. But yeah, I'll eventually get a flint off of this, and yeah. So I grab it here, I get the flint and steel, grab my crafting table, and I'm gonna go straight for the buried treasure map. Because definitely the play here is to go straight for buried treasure. It's not worth it to get another wreck, in my opinion, because a buried treasure chest, it can actually give you so many good things. It can give you an excess of iron. It can also give you pretty good food if you did not already get that. And that's the thing about iron wrecks, so you can literally top yourself off with food. They're always pretty viable, but you have to hope that the buried treasure is close to the iron wreck. In this case, it was, and so that was really beneficial. And so even if you start with an iron wreck and you get a very close buried treasure, you can still get a 4-minute nether, which is, very viable for, beating 2339. So yeah, we get that. We decide to maximize our tools. I pre-make gold armor, and I actually recently started pre-making gold armor. If you ever have gold ingots, you might as well do it before you get into the nether. You make it like with all of your tools, so that in the event that you spawn in a bastion in the nether, you don't instantly die. There's always that 1% chance that you can spawn inside of a bastion. It's actually happened to me before, but that run was kind of dead. So yeah, I actually picked the wrong L in this magma ravine, so I have to fill out that left magma, but that's perfectly fine, I guess. I do it pretty okay here. I've really reset so many hypermoderns that making this portal is just like cutting through butter. So I go through this, we enter into the nether, and immediately my first idea is to go positive. The other backside over here is completely buried, so there's literally no point to take a look at those quadrants. I know that I need both a fortress and a bastion this way, so I'm running straight this way. There's not even any point to even consider the quadrants behind me. It's a complete... They're gone, basically. I'm just running forward right now. And I noticed that an area of the run that I used to lose a lot of time to was actually looking around the nether for no reason. And, like, checking for structures. Like, I don't know. The moment I see this bastion over here, I immediately start running straight towards it. I don't meander. I don't waste time. I just go straight for the bastion. And this is a positive bastion, too. Turns out to be housing. I noticed that when I get a lot closer. But yeah, I spot this housing. I go straight for it. And what I would usually do is I would maybe like run towards the housing, then look like to negative, positive quadrant for some reason. It's just like waste time. I don't do that here. So the first throw of the run is that I actually spent time grabbing red mushrooms when I literally just walked over brown mushrooms right over here. And as I'm running towards this housing, there are actually some more brown mushrooms up on this hill in front of me. So that's a little bit of a time loss. We're going to get into why that's a time loss later on in the run. But I quite literally grabbed red shrooms but didn't grab brown shrooms. So that's a mistake. But I immediately noticed this housing bastion over here. I'm like, okay, you know, we go in, right? So the thing is about this bastion is that I'm not necessarily the most comfortable with top side first housing. I know that it's definitely a strategy, but as I've completely memorized the routing starting from bottom room, like the double chest room at the bottom right, I decided to just immediately run in for this. You know, it's a 6:30 bastion entry to housing, which is just a really good pace. So I just go for what I know, the bread and butter, the basics. You mine out these 2 blocks, do that, loot that. And the fact that I get a gold block here is actually really good. Mostly because housing only gives you 9 gold blocks in this area. And sometimes you quite literally don't get enough pearls from housing just because of the fact that there are 9 gold blocks here. So the fact that I could get that 10th one over there basically made this the same as Hoglin Stables. Good gap, right? It's like 10 blocks, I'm pretty sure, or something like that. So yeah, I'm definitely not like insecure about getting my pearls here. Like I know I'm gonna get my pearls and everything I need. And this piglin actually comes here. I grabbed the rest of my gold. Kind of scuffed setup here. I decided to throw those into there. And I decided to stay down here just to get the piglin into the hole. Probably like an extra piglin might make the difference of getting my items faster. So I decided to wait, get them in there. Pretty nice. So we run up here to the upper ramparts of this housing, and yeah. So basically, grab another red shroom over here. So yeah, up on top of this double chest, or no, not double chest, triple chest ramparts, I decided to mine a bit of glowstone because I like going for anchors, and sometimes I don't get enough glowstone for some reason from trades. And yeah, so basically there's a lot of piglins up here. I decided to mine this chest, very risky, but I know that the piglin AI is gonna aggro me soon. So I decide to drop all of the gold armor inside of this chest so that the piglins are all distracted with that gold armor right there. So I could loot the second chest by the time that I finish looting the first chest completely for free. And I feel like that was probably the play there because I only had 2 gold ingots that I dropped for 4 piglins to trade. So I was really about to get swarmed by them if I didn't drop something to distract them. So I'm pretty proud, pretty happy that I did that, or else I may have actually died. You know, it's very possible. One of the piglins come down here to aggro me, but I don't really care. I actually really quickly grabbed all of the things I needed. Already I have enough for Crying Obby anchor strats. I kind of fumble that fire res throw. But yeah, I have everything I need. I think I had enough for 5 bed single anchor, which is very consistent. It's definitely very good. And that's the best part about anchor strats. Is that with anchor strats, you can actually leave bastions a lot quicker. You don't need to waste time getting a shit ton of string. You can leave with half a stack of string as long as you're good with anchors. So yeah, I immediately knew that I need, like, since this housing bastion was positive, I was running straight towards the negative positive, because traveling along the x-axis is more effective at finding and locating fortresses, because fortresses are longer along the z-axis. But much to my dismay, this actually wasn't a fortress in negative positive. It was a treasure rooms. It was a double bastion. So immediately I decided to go for the extra regional fortress. This is pretty crazy, because I've never done this before. I've never even fathomed PBing with a extra regional fortress. So this was kind of nuts. I utilized pearl travel to the best of my advantage, and immediately I spot an extra regional fortress. There's a gas over there, don't really care about him. But yeah, at this point I had 19 pearls, and I thought to myself, like, I really had to be really efficient with this pearl travel. I definitely probably could have landed this pearl in retrospect. I don't know why I angled that so high up. It's very possible that I would have been able to land this pearl. So in my opinion, I probably had a pretty bad pearl here. It happens. Sometimes you make mistakes, but that's what RSG is all about. RSG is all about getting into a seed and just doing whatever you can with it. And if you make mistakes, you make mistakes. And you can hindsight as much things as you want, but yeah. So over here, as I saw those red shrooms there, that's when I realized that I didn't grab any brown shrooms. I realized that I actually had no food right now. So if I had grabbed those brown shrooms in front of the housing bastion, I wouldn't have lost a minute right here. This is where I actually, I threw the sub 20. Doesn't really matter though, because I still feel like I played the rest of the run pretty well. But I noticed that I didn't grab shrooms. It's a mistake. We all make them. But yeah. So I did have dandies. The dandelions there were very, very beneficial. And so yeah, I grabbed that. And so we have 17 pearls left. So we're gonna go straight for this nether fortress. And so, yeah, like, the coordinates for this fortress were also horrible. It was like 600Z. It's not that it was just an extra regional fortress. It was far, and look at that pearl. Just look at how amazingly beautiful that pearl was. Normally, you would throw a pearl towards a fortress like this, and you would land along the side, and you would have to do like this block MLG on the side. But what I did was actually just completely land the damn pearl. That was a very clean, very quick way of getting into the fortress, obviously. And yeah, so I go straight into these blazes, and actually very interesting thing about this blaze fight is that I went for 6 rod, but I actually got 6 out of 12 blaze. So it was a perfect 6 rods out of 12 kills, and it was like literally 50-50 odds. So that's pretty good. I have plenty of fire res, it's definitely not going to be an issue. The real issue here is getting a blind travel, within reasonable limit to get a PB. I'm really shaky. Like, it's not that I'm shaky here, it's just that I know that I really need to blind travel quickly, right? But I actually really am confused in this moment. I don't really know, like, in this moment in the run, I was actually very, very heavily contemplating between doing a blind travel in the second ring and doing pearling all the way back to the first ring and doing that. I actually noticed that a rod fell off the side here. I did see it. And I went down to grab the 6th rod. Now, the problem with doing a second ring blind, and I was still contemplating it, is that I decided to go for a 7th rod here by killing these blaze. It was a time loss, and I decided, screw the second ring blind, I don't care anymore. I'm just going straight for the first ring. I completely gave up on the 7th rod. I didn't want to do any kind of second ring. It was really risky. I knew that it was a PB pace run, even sub 20 pace run, but I had to land these pearls. I had to get out of there as fast as I possibly could. I remember, yeah, so I had 15 pearls here. So with 6 rods, you ideally want to keep, 12 pearls at least. So I only had 3 more pearls to play with in this nether. So clearly, each of these pearls had to be absolutely maximized in the amount of distance that they covered in order to get to the best possible blind travel coordinates. So I decided to go over here. I guess I was pretty decent. I have 2 more pearls left, and I need to land the pearl through this. This little expanse. It had to be perfect. It had to get me up there. And it most certainly did. So that was really good. The fact that I was able to land that pearl was huge. I start to come back to this treasure room's bastion. We're going to do a negative positive blind travel here in this quadrant. And one thing that I improved in this run compared to a lot of my previous PBs, and a lot of my previous runs in general, all my previous attempts for grinding sub 20, like, oh gosh, I've been grinding sub 20 for so long. But I realized today, like literally yesterday, that this whole time I've been doing my blind travels completely wrong. I've been picking such horrible coordinates to be doing my blind travels. I'll do my blind travels at like 200, 200, which is not really the middle of the ring. The thing is about blind traveling is that it's always super, super good to blind travel in the middle of the ring. Over here I make a little bridge and I just land another amazing maximized pearl. I almost missed this pearl. If I missed that pearl, the run would have been completely lost. And I'm just really glad that I maximized the last 3 pearls in my inventory very well. And I kept the 12 pearls. So I decided to do my blind travel here. I had enough obby, just topped this off. I was, 16-minute blind. Are you kidding me? And it was 2026? Are you guys ready for this? Are you actually ready for this? So I blind travel at the coast of this desert, and I knew, like, okay, yeah, there's an ocean. Oh, wait. The eye is pointing into the ocean. I'm like, okay, sure, why not? And recently I've been running this game. I've been grinding, like I mentioned before a couple times, I've been grinding this game so long. I've been pulling all-nighters in this past month, and I've been getting blind travels that were like 2,000, 1,800, like on average. And just look at what I find here. I haven't had a blind like this in a very long time. I even actually never had an ocean exposed stronghold in an extremely long amount of time. Like, it was crazy. The moment I saw this, my heart rate right now in the run was tremendous. I got, like, this was sub 20 pace, right? I got it. And so basically everything I do from this point on in the run is extremely shaky. It actually gets very shaky near the end, because I actually didn't fathom getting a PB on the same day that, Rainex got his world record, Or as of the recording of this video, the world record still has yet to be verified. But yeah, this was the same day, and I just couldn't even believe my eyes. This is, like, has a better blind travel ever been seen in a run? I don't know. This was a crazy blind into the one-eye ocean-exposed portal room, and that was honestly mesmerizing. It was just so totally beautiful. The single best blind travel I've had in my entire life in 5.5 months, almost nearly 6 months of speedrunning this game, this version. And it was truly something crazy. As you can see just how shaky my mouse is here. You can even see the shakiness in my mouse and just everything I'm doing. Like, I just didn't even know what I was doing anymore. Like, oh my god, like, throw this out of my inventory, get this out of here. So actually the interesting thing here is that I crafted all of my beds and everything over here for east-west. Like, I was standing east-west this entire time, but I run over here to the middle pillar, and I set up my anchor for north-south. But the dragon already, I guess, started east-west. It seems like it was already there, and I don't know whether or not me crafting there in the beginning was truly impacting the direction that the Ender Dragon would perch. But yeah, I just start towering up on this gravel over here. Like, I know that I probably lost the sub 20 pace. If I didn't make other mistakes in the run, it definitely would have been sub 20. As you can see right over here, I'm waiting for the dragon to perch. I know it's a crazy PB. I'm definitely going to get a great PB here. And much to my dismay, it's actually the second run that's a PB that ended up being a wrong perch. Like, seriously, I was super shaky at this moment. I knew I had my anchor, my trusty anchor, to help me finalize this. I set my FOV back to normal off of Quake Pro because I always suck with my 1 cycles on Quake Pro for some reason. But yeah, the wrong perch is pretty straightforward. I thought I was done on that last bet. I had that last bet, and I finished off the Ender Dragon with my Iron Axe. And I just popped off so badly here. It was so nice. It was very, very, very cathartic. And yeah, this run is especially cool because I could never fathom getting a time like this with an extra regional fortress, 1. And the blind travel was one of the best blind travels I've ever seen in the category of RSG 1.16.1. It was truly something fantastic, and I'm just gonna keep going even further to get sub 20. It's just been a really, really fun, crazy grind, and I feel so confident in myself to keep pushing this time. And yeah, I would just like to say thank you to everybody who has been watching and hanging out and giving me support over these past few months. And we keep moving forward. I'm definitely going to keep moving forward, and I'm going to get that sub 20. And yeah, thank you so much to everybody for watching. And yeah, thank you so much. I do stream basically every night, so my link to my Twitch is in the description. And yeah, much love everybody, and until next video, peace.